So if you imagine, right, people going around today in 2024 and kind of going around Bingley or Ilkley and Leeds, Chapeltown, and having a look at the locations of where Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, committed his horrendous crimes, you think we were absolutely, like a really sick joke, because it's very recent. It's I'm just trying to think. So he was given several life sentences, 1981. So it's very much in our lifetime, albeit I was one. But for most people can remember it. And do you know, if you went back in time and I'm just trying to think how long, 136 years ago, and walked around Spitalfields and Whitechapel and Aldgate and all them kinds of places, and said or suggested to them that people will be doing that in not the near future, of course, many, many decades and well over a century now, isn't it? But it would have been like you'd have probably been attacked. But that's what people do. And yeah, it's for instance, I mean, I've mentioned this before, when Annie Chapman was murdered, the second of the canonical five, people were charging a penny to view the murder site. So I think that was very much the start of murderabilia, if you like. I don't think that's a much difference from going in Waterstones and ordering one of my books all these years later. Some of the pictures that you're looking at, they're basically ghosts, aren't they? The ghosts on images, people who were so poor. Jack London written a book in 1901. He basically, an American, come from to stay in London, and he called it People of the Abyss. And when you imagine, like, as low, I mean, these days, I suppose, as low in life as you could get would probably be in prison. But back in the Jack the Ripper era, for them 10 weeks of the murders happened, and a lot longer, because I suppose if there was any goodness come out of them horrific, senseless murders, then there was a lot of things that changed. Lighting got better. There was a lot of changes to Whitechapel, which the community was crying out for. But these people that you're seeing, they're just sorry, going back to my point there, I forgot about that. So as low in life as you could get would be Whitechapel, the streets of Whitechapel, and these people were so poor, they couldn't even afford a bed for the night, and if you could imagine, the 90s, I suppose, it was maybe the 80s, I suppose, America had a massive thing with cocaine and crack cocaine, and years later, crystal meth. So back in that time, there was, of course, the East End opium houses, but gin was the big thing. And people used to sell gin with straw, and the straw was to sleep the hangover off. And do you know what? Like, life was just that bad, where you just can't blame these poor souls for getting absolutely blotted every single day. But I do like looking at the old Victorian pictures that some of them are in this video. As I said, they're just images, they're just yesteryear's ghosts that, they were so poor that life didn't look anything, didn't take a notice at them. These people were, it sounds really brutal, but they were irrelevant because they were so poor. Many of them worked to, obviously the women sold the bodies, but, like Matchbox, and the going rate was 144 matchboxes and you were paid 2 pence. So it's really horrific, but it's something that you know, the Whitechapel murders. It's basically a story, isn't it? It's a real life story, but of course the final chapter is ripped out because officially on Scotland Yard's files there was 167 suspects, but of course there's hundreds, and a lot of them are ridiculous. You know, they're absolutely you know, a lot of, like, the royal conspiracy and all that. He was out the country for 4 of the 5 murders, but it sells books and it does good films with Michael Caine in. And but yeah, it's a story that I'm absolutely been gripped for probably since I was about 11, and it can never be solved, you know, and I think that's why most people just cannot get enough of it. And yeah, it's this. I did a book. I'm going to put the link in the video. There's something about Whitechapel, which of course, what Morrissey said about 20 years ago on stage. Morrissey himself is obsessed with Whitechapel. You know, he did a song on the Cray Twins. He did a song actually called Jack the Ripper, and he stood on the stage. I think it was about 2005, and he said, "There's something about Whitechapel, not much, but something." And I mean, listen, I can't hold a torch to your Edward Stowes and your Paul Beggs and Richard Jones and all these amazing people who you know, they've given me so much amazing content to hours and hours to keep me happy. Although Mrs. Boyle doesn't like sitting watching it, but she gets her back rub and I get my own way. But you know, I knew I couldn't have. These were really serious, you know, 30, 40 years and more of research. But I did that book to kind of highlight the industry which just came after it. You know, punk bands in France called Jack the Ripper and Jack the Clipper Barbers and Jack the Chipper Chip Shops, and there's a whole industry, and pardon the pun, it's a business that makes a killing. So if you're like me and you are absolutely obsessed with the Autumn of Terror, let us know your comments below. Thanks for your time, guys. Don't forget to click and subscribe, and have a wonderful day. God bless.